Okay, I'm going to try to not make this video too long, but I am going to step you through a few things. The first is to export this Illustrator file into Photoshop so that I can recolor it using different colorways. So you all drew your files in Illustrator, and in order to export it for easy recoloring, I'm going to actually crop this artboard because I don't really need all of this. I just need a couple of repeats. So I'm going to go to the artboard tool here, and I'm just going to use it to change the size of the artboard. I'm not really worried about the number of inches. I'm just worried about capturing a couple of repeats, and this is good enough to show me the rhythm of the pattern, so whatever that means to you. So after I've done that, after I've done that, I'm going to actually move to a different tool. I have Photoshop open in the background, so it's a little confusing over here. So let me move that out of the way. And when I export the file, all of the stuff in the gray area is going to be gone. So this is kind of like cropping in Illustrator. So I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to save it as a, hopefully we don't crash here. I'm going to save it as an Illustrator file, which is like a .ai, but I'm going to, I always like to do this, is save it as a floral for Photoshop, so I know that it's the version that I'm exporting. And when I bring it up in Photoshop, then I'll be able to decide the attributes. So that's the easiest way, is just to save it as a regular file. And I'm going to quit Illustrator here because I don't want to use up the memory. So as you can see over here in Photoshop, I have my pitch sheet, which I'm going to show you how to use in a moment. And I'm going to just open the file that I just saved on the desktop. And I'm going to, find it right there, look at the menu that opens when I begin to open it, and definitely set a few things. For instance, I do not want constrained proportions to be on. Sometimes that's on, and I do not want anti-aliasing on. Anti-aliasing creates a blur around colors because Photoshop is for photography and it thinks you want to soften things. I do want to bring it in at 250 or 300 DPI. That's a high quality, so I'm going to keep it at 300, and everything else should be the same. It's definitely going to tell me the width and height of it. If you see the width and height and it's like 100 inches by 100 inches, you probably would like to go back into Illustrator and resize your design before exporting it. So I'm going to click OK, and what's going to happen is my file is going to come in very crisp color. That checkerboard in the background is there because there is no background. It was a setting that I had put in Illustrator. So all I have to do is say layer and flatten, and then suddenly it's going to be on a white ground. And you can see when I zoom in that the color is actually really crisp because there's no blur being added. If I were to open this with that anti-aliasing on, I can show you exactly what the issue would be. I'll put anti-aliasing on, open the same file, flatten the same file, zoom into the same area, and you'll see that it's giving me this blur around the edges, which would make the file really difficult to recolor because I'd have to somehow capture all those tones. So anti-aliasing is not our friend. I'm not going to save that. I'll work with this one. Now, I have this really crisp file, but the easiest thing for me to do to recolor it would be not to select the blues and fill it, because that's labor intensive. It's to turn it into an indexed file. So an indexed file, you can use the exact colors that are in your file, as you see there, and it'll do the exact colors. The problem here is it might not do it in the order that you chose to do it in your pitch sheet. So refer to your pitch sheet and follow the order that you used and select your colors in that order. I'm going to show you how to do that. We take preview off, we go to custom colors, we clear out what's there by clicking on the first chip and making it white, and then click and drag to the last chip and make that white. And then it just clears them all out so they're all white. And then chip by chip, I go in and click on the color that I want to put in the chip. And this should follow your pitch sheet. I don't actually have a pitch sheet for this demo, but it should follow your pitch sheet order. And it's also going to make the rest of this process a lot easier. So now that I have all of my colors here, if I'm not sure, I will find out very quickly when I hit this preview whether or not all the colors are there, because if they're not there, then the image would change because one less color would have been there. The other thing you can do is change the options here to no dither if it's a flat artwork, which all of ours are. If it had tonality, having a little diffusion might make the file look better, but for our purposes, we don't need that. So now I have a file that is what's called indexed. I'm circling it at the top so you could see it. And that index file is basically locked into place. Like, I can't do any other coloring in this. So if I'm drawing with black on this, it's like, nope, I'm going to draw with another color that's already in the image. So the indexing means no other color can be added. You can, however, swap out the colors by doing the next step. So this is what you would need to do in preparation. Index your file in the order that your pitch sheet is, and then I would say save this file so that you have a copy of it. The next thing that I'm going to do is create a new folder over here in my swatches menu for the colors that are in the file. So original colorway and versions. So I'm going to put everything in one folder here. How am I going to get the colors from here in there in the right order? Well, I'm going to go to Image, Mode, Color Table. This is the color that I want to add to here. I'm going to save it as whatever your file name is, an OG colorway. And then over here, I'm going to load it in. So import swatches. OG colorway, open, and it's actually going to end up in the folder beneath, but I'm going to move just these colors. I guess I could leave them there, but I could also just click and hold Shift key down to get them all and move them into the other folder if I wanted them in a particular folder. So I'll leave them in there. So that's my color order. My display tools, I can do like a list or thumbnails in a row, however you prefer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my pitch sheet to recolor the design. Now, you worked in class on swapping with a partner, so you will have a set of colors that you can use to recolor the design. What you're going to do is you're going to refer to your color pitch sheet that you physically have, and you are going to, by eye, put in the colors that you used last week. So this is colorway number 1, and I can just put the next colorway right behind it because I'm going to remember that it's 6 colors, and so every 6 colors is a new colorway. Or I can make another folder if I feel like that's something that works for me better. So I'm going to make another folder and say colorway 2. If this feels confusing, I can rename it by clicking right on it and saying original colorway. Okay, so that's just organizational stuff. So colorway 2, I'm just going to go through the pitch sheet. So I'm faking it here, but I'm going to pretend that in class the first color on the pitch sheet is this dark gray. So I'm going to go to the colorway 2 folder, click on this plus sign, and whatever color is in my toolbar over here is going to go there. So let's say the second color where there's blue, my classmate had a dark green. So I'm going to add that here. Where the red was, my classmate had a blue. Where the purple was, my classmate had a lighter blue. So this is working off of the pitch sheet that you did in class. Where the green was, my classmate had this weird yellow. So after I've done this, I'm going to take these colors that I'm saving as swatches and import them into my index file so that the colorway is going to change. So I have to follow the correct order for this to work. So I'm going to go to colorway 2, clicking on it, I can right click on it and I can say export selected swatches. I'm going to call this colorway 2. I'm going to go to image mode color table. I'm going to load up colorway 2. You can see that the colors in colorway 2 came in the exact order as the colorway, and they're all here. So for your 4 other colorways, you're going to make a folder. And I think one of my prompts had been seasonal. So I could say summer colors first. And in summer colors, I would refer up to the original colorway here. Say, instead of a white ground, maybe what I want is like a pale yellow ground. And the colorways that you can develop from images, references, internet, paintings, your brain. You can see how that goes. Oftentimes outside references are helpful. But I'm going to pull in colorways, or rather colors here, that make me feel like it's a summer palette. And I'm going to do it in the order that my original colorway is in. So you'll see it's corresponding. I'm going to do some pale, sort of beachy colors. Don't expect this to be something that you're used to doing, but I think it's going to be something that really helps you moving forward. I can finish this here. I'm going to click right, export selected swatches. I'm going to call it my summer colorway. And then I'm going to do the same thing. So I would save this file as, floral partner colorway, for instance, and then I would do the image mode color table, load the colors, summer colorway, bring it in, and then I can save this as the summer colorway. And I would do that for all 4 of those colorways. I don't really care how you approach the colorways, but they should be 4 different types of colors. So seasonal is easy, time of day is easy, emotion's easy, but it's up to you. You just have to be able to explain it to the class when you do it. And each one will be saved as a different file. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions, but I think that should do the trick. Once you're done, you will have these total of 6 files. Your original colorway, your partner colorway, and 4 related colorways, meaning seasonal, emotional, etc.